Welcome back to my channel, Remember This Tech. This is my old Lian Li case with my AMD Phenom Black 955 CPU. As you can see, it's in need of a really deep cleaning, and it's got some, well, it's pretty filthy. But you can tell that I got my work cut out for me. We're going to have to take everything apart, replace the fans, replace the power supply, and we'll see what we can salvage. Let's get right into it, shall we? This is going to need an isopropyl alcohol bath. The inside looks better than the outside, and this Lian Li has the removable sliding tray where you can pull the entire motherboard out and put it back in. So I wonder if you can guess what video card that is. Cooler master, cooler, but we're gonna take it apart and deep clean it now. But first we're gonna blow it out. Took off the front dirty, but the clips are still in good shape, and that's a really positive because over time they can get brittle and break. But this is a metal grate with the filter, and this comes out, but it's pretty filthy. And there's two like 80mm fans in the front here. This is not good lighting. This is in the garage. It is what has to happen for now, because some of these parts are pretty dirty and disgusting, and I don't want them in the house. I'm gonna take the video card out. This card barely fits in here with this stupid hard drive cage down here. I don't even think I'm gonna put that back in, but then again, maybe I will. Kinda have to finagle this out to get the dual 6-pin power connectors out. I mean, it doesn't look too horrible. Not as bad as I thought. But we're going to take the shroud off. We're going to clean the fins, clean the PCB, re-thermal paste it. Yeah, it's only a 1 gig card, but that's what we had in 2009, 2010. It wasn't that bad. I'm going to try to reuse this heatsink because it fits on here, the Cool Master, because I might have to replace the fan, but that's probably it, or maybe I can clean it up. I forget how much RAM I put in here, but it's DDR3 and it's probably 8 gig. Alright, here's some of the RAM. I have Kingston. Let's pull the other ones. What do they have? G-Skill? Ripjaws. Yeah, this is 4 gig here, 2 gig, 2 gig. Didn't cheap out on the RAM. Kingston and the G-Skill, so it's not horrible. It's only 8 gig though, but it's pretty good for back in the day. Dual channel. Fun thing, well, the convenient thing back in the day for at least this case was that all these thumb screws are the same size basically, and a lot of these bays here, like this guy, take those 2 screws out and then your hard drive cage is out. That means that you could just take it out and you didn't have to fart around and put it in here and try to get the screws on the sides. So you just take that bay out. Now that the dry bay's out, here's the 2 80mm fans. I suppose it could technically be possible to put a 120mm in here with an adaptation, but it's just not probably feasible. But they run fast too. I mean, they make a lot of noise. They're not quiet. So in this respect, yes, you can. I have to replace these fans. They're old, and they had fan control speed. This switch here for the fans, which is convenient. Another bay coming right out. Not going to keep this, but back in the day, this is very handy because you got compact flash, you got USB, you got all the different various things that you could use back in the day for media, but the front cover's coming off. It's a Roswell. Somehow, who knows why, I'm running an IDE freaking light on DVD drive in here. Why? I don't know. Just was. I mean, it's 14 years ago, maybe 15, 16, 17. I don't know. Maybe I put in parts here and just, you know, added over time. This is what it is, man. 4-pin Molex power. Ow. This right here for the fans, it slides up. This cover here. It's aluminum, of course, the whole case is, but it comes up and off. This is the front shroud of the filter material, and it's disintegrated and full of disgustingness. And once we're in here, we have access to the stupid 80mm fans, but they seem to be in there with a plastic like rivet type thing, which makes this annoying as all hell. Do they work? Do they still work? Probably do. Well, I do remember that they were horribly loud, even when the lowest setting, so I may have to think about this. I'm gonna yank this power supply. And as you can see here, even the power supply, you could take the whole thing out like so, right? These thumb screws, bam, 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 bam. 2 more. So there's 4. Get this guy out. And then look at all these cables. Amazing. So this had a design where, yeah, you bolt this onto your power supply, right? Then you slid it in place, and then you thumb screwed in the plates here. And that's how you secured it, and you can take mostly everything out of this case. Whether it's a good design or not, that's different. But I think this power supply is not worth saving. It is a Thermaltake TR2 600 watt ATX 12 volt 2.2. It's old. Only had a 5-year warranty, so it's only about 10 years past its warranty. So I think we're going to upgrade this with a modular because this case doesn't have a ton of work to work around. It's a top mounted power supply, so you can slide the entire motherboard tray out. So you could pull, if you didn't have a cooler in the way, you can pull this out like that. I had a giant Cooler Master Hyper 212 on here, so it didn't work. I couldn't do that. So if you had a stock cooler, it would work fine. Right. Firewire, Sata. It's a decent board. Spit if out. Decent board for back in the day. I like how they have this cool heatsink though. Crossfire back in the day, that was the thing. I mean, it does have an IDE, but it still has a ton of SATA ports. So remove the fan shroud from the heatsink. Well, I knew it was going to be bad, but that's pretty caked. So people say, "Oh, the PC doesn't work anymore." Tell me more. Tell me why it doesn't work. Tell me more. Have you blown it out? Have you cleaned it? Have you done any maintenance on it? No. Why should I? Well, PC doesn't work. That's why. Oh God, it looks horrible. Oh my gosh, what has happened? What has happened to this system? Gross. It's just smudged and caked and gross, man. No wonder. It's like, oh, my computer doesn't work. It doesn't work, man. I wonder why it doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I know why. It's like tar. It's like cigarette tar. How would it get in here? But it did. Pisses me off. Doesn't sound bad. I can't hear anything. Cleaned it up, and I think we can reuse this. Only way to know is to put it on the system and fire it up, you know. Here is the heatsink. It was disgusting, and I got it mostly cleaned up. But yeah, copper pipes. There's 4 of them. No sense in throwing it away, you know. I mean, this thing is great. Just by letting it dry outside, that's what dripped out of that. I mean, there was tons more, but I blew it out. You know, it's hard to find these because they don't really make a lot of AM3 socket, AM2 socket heatsinks that will fit those systems. So this is perfectly fine. You can just replace the fan if you had to, as long as you got the bracket. So I do. Before you put anything back on, after you've cleaned it really well with isopropyl alcohol, make sure you keep it very dry. Compared to what it was, it's a success, right? So yeah, this is a crucial Sata SSD. It's a Sata 2.5-inch drive. I'd like to benchmark the speed on that. It's one of the first ones that ever came out, so it's my original one. Hopefully it still works. Cleaned it up. And then I'm gonna clean this up next. This is the Sapphire Radeon 5850 HD. So what bothers me is that there's a visible heat discoloration in the back plate, the plate here, right? If I don't know if you can see that. So hopefully it didn't overheat too bad and die, because I'll be kind of pissed. Gonna take it apart and see if I can clean it up and see how it works. Doing the cages here, these they come out, you know, they just pop in, pop out. Good thing, bad thing, but after a while these things kind of loosely sat in there, and I don't know if I like it or hate it. I don't know. It was good at the time, but yeah, I'm gonna have to start pulling this apart. This will come off last. This comes off now. See? Ew. Ew! May be able to save the heat tape, but this one right here is shot. So this is just pretty disgusting, but so let me start by cleaning up what I can. Q-tip time, and I can, well, at least they use a big copper die on this thing. This is good. Alright. I've seen some nastiness before. This is up there. And I haven't even taken the Shroud off yet, you know. Thermal pads, they're just for the memory chips. And technically you can probably save them, but if you really want to go and do it the right way, you can buy some new of these. If you're taking this apart and you want to get this shroud separated, you have to take a screw here, and then underneath the thermal tape is another screw you need to take out, because it's holding the shroud in the place here. And I wouldn't be surprised if this one's here. They're tiny and they're different size, so lengths, so keep them separate so you can put them back. They kind of blend into the shroud itself, but once you've got that done, you can take this fan blower out. You can get a better access to cleaning this, take this out and clean that out as well, the whole thing. This is metal. This is not plastic. This is plastic, but this is metal where this fan is attached. The cool thing is that there are screws that you can replace the fan as well. I think it's like 72 millimeter maybe. But yeah, you can get them for, it's like 13 bucks if you have to. This is a pretty hefty copper heatsink with fins at least. Fat heat pipes here. Once you get this out, you can clean it out even more. I gotta blow it out and clean this up more. Here we are, best I can get it for now. I got the shroud cleaned, fan, heatsink, PCB. Gonna re-thermal paste it. I do need to get some more thermal pads replacements, so we have to reuse these temporarily. I will get new ones. I just want to see if it works before I go that route, so let's put it back together, and it's a simple matter to take the initial parts off and put new thermal pads on. Well, trying to keep the system as original as possible, and this is the motherboard. Isotropic alcohol with 5 million Q-tip cleaning here. Ideally, you would need to put this in an alcohol bath because it's just that grody, you know. I can do a surface clean, but that's only going to do so much. It's what you all wanted, so let's see if I can go through the tedious tasks of cleaning everything. I mean, none of the capacitors are leaking. ASUS made a good board back then. All Japanese capacitors. It's gonna take a while, you know. You would think I would test the board first, but no. That is something I should do that I haven't done, or I don't know. This is what the work table looks like after the cleaning of the parts. Some came out cleaner than the others, obviously. There's a lot of residue I couldn't get out, but some came out pretty good. I have to put everything back together now. Even have the I/O shield, which is good. Cooler. Hopefully everything's good. These fans are shot in the front too. I have an ace up my sleeve though. I have 3 of these guys. They're thin. So yeah, these are the thermal right fans that I got. They're half the thickness of the other fans that came with it. Plus the bearings aren't shot on these, and they should be quieter and just as much airflow. I use a standard connector. I am going to use the one going into the motherboard is splitter, and then 3 fans, so less clutter, and hopefully this will work better. There is a fan control module that used to work in the front, and I don't know if I'm going to use that again. The other fans were wired into a Molex connector. For right now, I'm going to let the motherboard take care of the fan control. Let's get these in. This is the way the airflow states it's supposed to go, so far they're working fine with these screws. Whether or not they ruin the screws itself by going through the aluminum, who knows. Yeah, they're flush mount, so they seem to be okay. They seem like they're gonna work. So comment below if you have used these fans in a build or something like it. Fans are in. Hopefully I put them in the right direction. But yeah, So these can fit 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-pin, and just slide them in like that. Get your fan on. Get your fans on. Basically just line it up. Arrange your cables, get them out of the way. And then like so. And then your board is in place. And then you can attach. I have to tuck this up here. Power supply is going to come in there though, so. Let's get the cooler on and thermal paste, so let's do that. Oh, I guess I gotta take off the fan shroud to get this screw access. Stupid. Got the adapter in here, plugged into the chassis fan compartment, and we will cable manage some of these in a bit, as soon as I know that the system is functional. Otherwise I'll have to redo a lot of this stuff, and yeah, start plugging in some cabling, front USB panel, cooler, overhangs a bit, so I'm going to put the Kingstons in the first slot, so that the G-Skill rip jaws, they are, well, they have big heat sinks, fins you'll see. You just match them up with the particular slots for their dual channel. These are all 1600 megahertz RAM. 6 DDR3, and a lot of bend in this chassis here. There are supposed to be these little nubs to stick in here. You either get them in or you don't, and they hardly ever fit right. So that's one thing I hated about this case. And then the bottom one, the last one, yeah, good luck with that, because it's gonna knock all the other ones out of place. Oh. Kind of got it. And I figure what better than to put a 550 watt Gold Plus Cooler Master power supply in here to go with the Cooler Master fan and heatsink. It's a V55 Cooler Master. I can just run whatever cables I want, as it's fully modular. Oh, but did you think I forgot? Got to put this plate on this thing so that you can mount it to the frickin' case. So I better get that on there. Stupid. This stupid ass thing. There's a hybrid switch here and it doesn't fit. It's not flush. So this can't be tightened down 100%. None of the older power supplies 7 had them. Not tighten this screw all the way so don't smash this too bad. But well, now we just have to get the damn holes lined up. That's what you get when you try to put new tech in an old case. Things don't necessarily want to play nice. So here's the Lian Li P60 case, almost the best condition I can get it. Some stains wouldn't come out. We've got the front case fans replaced and test if everything works. I still haven't tested anything. Rear case fan in, no top fan currently at the Cooler Master. I believe it's a Hyper 212, 16 gig of RAM, DDR3, and the Radeon HD 5850 1 gig card. We have the original crucial 120 gig SSD. It's only SATA 2, that's how old it is. The period correct with the Phenom 2 X4 955 black CPU, and seeing if this system will even boot up. I haven't tested anything on the hope that it will. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Fingers crossed. All right, let's go. Why am I not getting any monitor signal? All right, here we go. F2, F1 to setup. Oh! It's alive! Whoa. Alright, clear the CMOS battery has been reset, but let me zoom in and I'll just set some configuration settings in the BIOS, see if they hold, and go from there. I can't believe this freaking ancient computer booted up after the thorough cleaning I did and take apart everything. Alright, let's check it out. This is the crucial drive. Alright. I'll have you listen to the system fans. They're a little loud and the doors aren't on. Well, let's get to it. Phenom 2 X4955 black processor, which means it's unlocked and overclockable. And see, it says AL change frequency, yes. Stock speed of 3,200 megahertz, yay! 512K L1, 2K or 2 meg L2, and 6 meg L3. It isn't really super feature full like a newer system would be today, but it's still okay. Legacy, we have USB 2.0. How awesome! And it sees the USB 3.0 for my boot for Windows 7. Plug and play? Yes. You need that for like Windows fan speed, chassis feed, blah, blah, blah. So fans are going pretty fast, and I think maybe you could lower them, but don't have much in the way of options here, but we can change it here to the boot drive here, so we go from there. If you're loading Windows 7, Windows 10, etc., don't forget to change your settings to AHCI. Alright, let's see if we can get this to load Windows 7. Oh, Windows 7, here we come. We're journeying back in time. And I'm booting from a USB with Windows 7 SP1. I like the way this loaded this stupid thing. Thought it was cool. I stayed on Windows 7 for forever. Same thing I did with Windows XP. Just didn't want to learn a new OS, but I got used to it and it was great. And I finally went to Windows 10 after a while. But alright, it sees the SSD, and we'll just go next. And it's copying! Woo! Yes, yes. Alright, we got it. Welcome to Windows 7 Desktop. Kind of looks like Vista-esque, you know. Let's see what it installed. Or didn't. It looks like everything's installed, but it's not, because obviously the only thing it does see is the processor, the other things. So we have to, oh, it got the network adapter. I'm gonna have to install some drivers and get back to the system. So let's get to testing after we install all the rest of the updates. So final thoughts. Everything worked in it, and I was quite surprised. Normally I would have fired it up to make sure everything worked, but obviously it didn't post and there were some problems, so I went the extreme route and took the risk, and that everything was going to work once I cleaned it up, repasted it, and basically deep cleaned it. So it's kind of exciting to get this PC back up and running. It was my spare gaming PC back when I built it in 2009, 2010, and I had given it to someone to use probably like 5 years ago, and got it back non-functional. And since it was my old system, I put in the excruciating amount of time to clean it up and get it working again. Some of the things didn't come out perfect, but you know, the case itself is almost 20 years old. Granted, most of the other PC parts are from 2009, 2010. I was excited to get it back and working because I had originally built it back in the day. So I was really excited when the thing fired up and it worked. It was a nasty nightmare cleaning the damn thing. If you've gotten this far, you've seen my frustration in the video, but I had to get it working. I had to get it cleaned up. I'm planning to do some gaming tests for this from that era of games between 2009, 2012-ish. And I might do a few upgrades to this system further. So if you're interested in that kind of retro content back in the era and restoring PCs and older gaming, then now's a good time. You might want to hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, click the thumbs up button. Thanks for coming along with me on this restoration journey of my old, crusty, dusty, nasty PC. And thanks for watching. Remember this tech.